has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall, coast to coast.
And we are back for El Coast to Coast, hour number 2 here on SportsGrid and SportsGrid Radio. Great to have everybody with us here on a Wednesday. Carver High in for Scotty. A lot to do this hour, of course. We'll have Coach Young later on with the Lion's Share. Davis Maddock will stop by as well. I'm sure that he's even going to get involved with a little Golf Wednesday. That's for sure. And we have all the baseball that we're going to get to. We have the NBA, the hockey, on and on and on a Wednesday on C2C. Of course, everybody should at this point have the new SportsGrid app. I mean, don't understand why you wouldn't have it right now. It's available both at the iOS and the Play stores. You can track scores and live odds. You can stay up to speed on all the latest content from your favorite hosts. You can watch or listen to us live anytime, anywhere on the app. Watch SportsGrid on the app or listen to SportsGrid Radio anytime on the app. Even Carver and Lacey, which airs weeknights at 8 p.m. East on SportsGrid Radio. So that's an option that you're going to have as well right there on the app. It's available both iOS and the Play stores. Right now, go and get it, the new SportsGrid app. It is outstanding. Go to sportsgrid.com/watch to catch the network and see all the platforms where you can find us on. All right, so let's get you up to date with what's happening with the baseball this afternoon. We do have a final as the Red Sox smashed Atlanta 9-0 at Fenway. Couple of homers for Rafael Devers in that game. Pretty gutless effort by the Braves there as they get smashed by Nick Pivetta, who, this is why sometimes it's tough. And I talk a lot about, especially when I do the home runs, I do everything about past performance, right? About what have hitters done against certain pitchers. Sometimes you can't put all the eggs in that basket because a lot of guys on the Braves smash Nick Pivetta, and he shut them down today. So that sometimes is how it goes. Tremendous performance by him. The Cardinals have a 4-2 lead on the Astros right now, top of the ninth inning in Houston. Arenado has a homer in that game for the Cards as they're going to look to close that one out. The Rockies got a 4 spot in the first inning against Cincinnati. They have a 4-2 lead now after Candelario hit a 2-run homer for the Reds. So 4-2, top of the fourth in Colorado. Diamondbacks have a 1-0 lead on the Giants. Gurriel RBI single in the bottom of the first. They're still hitting, and they have that 1-0 lead there. The Mets and the Nationals are in a rain delay, so they are not going to start on time out in D.C., and the Brewers and the Phillies are about to throw first pitch as well. That is Ashby against Aaron Nola, as I believe they just did, as I saw, throw first pitch there. So that is all the afternoon baseball that we have going on at this point. We have plenty of other games that we're going to get to for tonight. Good night slate that we have in the majors, but we have a few things from last night that we want to tackle first. Why don't we start in the Bronx, where the Yankees have been on a roll. They come off a road trip where they were 7-2, and then they go home with a big win over a team that they always beat. Let's be honest here. The Minnesota Twins always get smashed by the Yankees. And last night, once again, Giancarlo Stanton on the Yes Network. Big fly for the Bombers.
Drill deep to left field. There it goes. See ya. Into the second deck. A 2-run blast by Stanton. And the Yankees lead 5-1.
5-1 again, right there was the final as the Twins continue to not be able to get it done in the Bronx. The Yankees are now 43-19 as they've kind of been going back and forth the last couple days with the Phillies for the best record in Major League Baseball. They will go at it again tonight. We'll give you the numbers in a little bit as they will have Rodon going up against Paddock in the big yard in the Bronx. Also last night, Cleveland beat the Royals 8-5. Royals jumped out to an early lead in that game. Couple of homers from Bobby Witt Jr. End up giving it up. Huge homer for Josh Naylor. Freeman had a huge homer for them as well as they got that game tied. And it was almost like a Little League error play with Witt on a throw that allowed all the runs to come around for the Guardians in that one, and they get themselves an 8-5 win. I think I can also bring in the encyclopedia of college football right now, the one, the only, go for the two, Joe Lisi, as he did not have the over in the Cleveland-Kansas City game last night. Hi, Joe. How you doing?
Hi, Carver. Always a pleasure. You know, I had some technical difficulties a little bit earlier, but when I'm back, I'm in, full action here, and let's get some overs in baseball. No, I didn't have that over last night, and the over in Cincinnati and Colorado let me down as well. But we got to get back on the horse. This is what it's all about. It's hump day, baby. Up, 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 and away.
I'm assuming that means that you went back to the over in Colorado this afternoon, as they already have 6 runs on the board. So I'm going to assume that you went back to that for this game.
I was inundated with stuff, so obviously, no, I did not get on that. Could we get in now? I haven't even looked at the app right now.
I think now is probably too late, Joe. I'm not going to lie to you. Let's see what they're giving you now. 14.5.
Well, how high can we go? How high can we go? Could we go up to 20?
I don't think so. That's not.
What do you mean you don't think so?
You're not going to pull me in on that. I'm not going any alts in game right now. Especially, let's see what they have for you, Joe. Totals. You can go to 16.5 at plus 190. That's as much as they're going to give you.
Yeah,
that's it. 11 more runs you would need for that.
It's not good enough. I need more. Might have to attack some other games a little bit later. I can't do it now. Now that's it. I'm aggravated.
The good thing is, Joe, is that I do have plenty of games for you later on. So we are going to try and attack.
Today's a football show too. You promised.
I have a couple things for you in the final hour. Hopefully, we'll still have time for them. But I do have some things from the football realm. The Pirates last night, they beat the Dodgers 1-0. Of course, we're going to discuss it a little bit. Me and Gabe did before that the Dodgers are actually dogs tonight in Pittsburgh with Skeens on the mound. But last night, they only needed 1 run against Tyler Glasnow, and that was provided by Jack Sawinski back up from the minors on Sportsnet Pittsburgh.
Drive to right field. Jack Sawinski hits this one out of here. Oh, Potato Pete loves it. A line drive home run for Sawinski. He's back, and it's 1-0.
Potato Pete, Joe. He loved it too, Potato Pete.
Potato Pete, huh? The Fighting Zelinskis. Are they from Steeltown? Or where are they from?
It sounds like it.
Are they from Airpipe?
Sounds like it, that's for sure. Dodgers will try again tonight. We'll give you those numbers in a bit with Paul Skeens going for the Buccos. Rays beat the Marlins 9-5. Nice job by you there, Joe. You were all over that over. And the Rays were able to clear it by themselves with the 9-piece against Jesus Luzardo, who was awful in that game. Orioles continue to smash the Blue Jays over the last couple nights. 2 nights ago, it was Austin Hayes with a 2-homer game. Last night, Ryan Mountcastle got in on the 2-home run game on Masson.
For Mountcastle, he's got 87 home runs in his career. That is hit well again. Center field this time. Varsho looking it back, and wow, that one went way up there. Ryan Mountcastle takes Central and beyond. He's got a 2-run shot. It's the 5th inning, and he's got 5 RBIs too.
How about that?
That ball was absolutely mashed.
Mashed, Joe. That ball was mashed. So I gave you the bouquets for the Tampa-Miami game last night. Now you can give them to me. I told you that the Orioles would clean that by themselves.
I think you're rooting against me. You love when the Blue Jays get smashed, don't you? You want to bash them into the ground.
Because
you do.
It actually has nothing to do with you. I just think they're a good team to play against, especially against the Orioles. You continue to have faith in this team. They're finished. I mean, Cam was telling me before they're gonna chop the manager soon.
Good. Maybe that's what they need. That's what the Phillies did. Well, the Phillies did that with Girardi. They made the World Series.
I got a bunch of games for you tonight, Joe. We will come back and we will get into all of those. Ferrall Coast to Coast here on a Wednesday. Carver High and Joe Lisi in for Scotty. We are back on the grid right after this.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Chicago is one of the top media markets in the country, so it makes some sense. But I gotta tell you, Philadelphia, not far behind. Cleveland, Ohio, not far behind. I would guess that precedent is now set.
They now would be paying, based on the last 12 months numbers, they'd be paying an additional $81.6 million in taxes.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
We are back for Coast to Coast here on a Wednesday. Carver High and Joe Reese in for Scotty on SportsGrid and SportsGrid Radio. Great to have everybody with us here today. All right, only other thing I'll mention from last night, the Cubs came back to beat the White Sox. They were down 5-0 in that game with the rain delay. They come all the way back, and they get a 7-6 win. And they were a heavy price, too. I think the White Sox were like plus 270 last night, and have a 5-0 lead. That was very unfortunate over at Wrigley. They'll play again tonight. We'll give you the numbers in a moment. We'll start, Joe, with tonight's slate in Cleveland with the Royals and the Guardians, where it'll be Brady Singer and Nick Sandlin tonight in Cleveland. We have right now, Joe, the Guardians at minus 125, plus 105 for the Royals, and an 8.5 here. I liked the Royals last night with Lugo, Joe. I want to go back to them here. I think they're going to put up a fight against Cleveland at some point. They had a lead, just like we were just talking about the White Sox blowing a lead. The Royals blew a lead in that game. I think tonight they're able to go, and they have Singer going, who's been pretty good as well.
I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to go with the Guardians. I'm going to go with the under tonight. I'm not a believer in the Royals' big picture. I think the Guardians playing at home match up well, and I'll take a shot tonight, Carver. I'll go against you.
Yeah, you're probably just doing that on purpose, going against me, because you think that I've been doing that to you lately. So now you want to try and go after me a little bit. That's okay. I don't mind that at all, because I'll go to the window with the Royals tonight. The Dodgers...
Nice.
The Dodgers are in Pittsburgh against the Pirates again. Of course, it was a 1-0 game last night. How about this, Joe? This is very rare for us, and we do this pretty much every day. The Dodgers being a dog tonight against the Skeens. Minus 115 for the Buccos, minus 105 for L.A. Flat 8 is the total. The Big Maple, James Paxton's going to go for L.A. I said to Gabe earlier, Joe, like, I love the Skeens stuff, the hype, all of that. I think he's fun to watch pitch, gets all the strikeouts, but it's not like he's been completely untouchable in all of his starts. I'm kind of surprised that the Dodgers are dogs tonight, and Joe, I plan on taking advantage of it. I'm on the Dodgers here, and I think they're going to touch off a couple of homers against Skeens tonight.
Oh, hook me a sucker. That's exactly what the books want you to do. I'm going with the trend. I told you yesterday the Pirates would win. They did 1-0. Now they're going to double down on the Dodgers because it's Ohtani, it's Freeman, it's your boy Mookie Betts. Smash special. Pirates in the over, Carver. Pirates in the over tonight.
The over's going to come in, but you're actually wrong on this one. Everyone loves betting on Skeens. Skeens is the hot commodity right now. Everybody is all over this guy.
David Skeens against the Dodgers?
So Skeens is the guy that everybody's backing in this. And the Dodgers are going to say a little welcome to the majors moment for him tonight, which he has not had yet, really. The Rays are in Miami again against the Marlins. Zach Eflin against Braxton Garrett is the pitching matchup tonight. As of right now, Joe, Rays minus 125 on the road, plus 105 for the Marlins. Another 7.5 here. You going after this over again?
Absolutely. They want to tack a 7.5. I think Tampa Bay found its groove. Intrastate rivalry. You know I love those in college football. Gotta love it in terms of Major League Baseball. Give me Tampa. Give me the over. And I think we get this game into the teens yet again, Carver. Plus money. What can we get? How high? 13? Let me see. 7.5. I think I want to take it right around 13.5 again. That should be around a 4.30 price.
The Orioles will try again up in Toronto, or shall we say the Jays will try again against the Orioles. The Orioles have been beating them up, especially the last couple of nights. Albert Suarez against Jose Berrios is the pitching matchup tonight. Believe it or not, the Jays are minus 115 with Berrios. Minus 105 for the Orioles and a flat 8. I was saying before, Joe, everybody on the Orioles has great numbers against Berrios. So it is a bit of a kind of a tricky line, honestly. I get it. Suarez is going for the Orioles, which is probably what puts it there. But they've all got huge numbers off of Berrios. Rushman, Mountcastle, Santander, they all smash him. And yet, Toronto is the favorite tonight. Very interesting, Joe. Very interesting.
Very interesting. But that leads me to believe the over is going to come in tonight. So I lean Blue Jays because I think that they're not going to get swept by the Orioles. I could be wrong, but I think they salvage the series, at least win this game. But I like the total tonight. Let's go up, 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 and away.
Yeah, I got no problem taking the over, that's for sure. I'm staying away from a side in that one, but I got no problem taking the over. The Twins are still in the Bronx against the Yankees. That's a bad place for them because they never win there. Chris Paddock against Carlos Rodon is the pitching matchup tonight, where the Yankees minus 175 plus a $1.45 for the Twins and an 8.5 here, Joe. I could see the Yankees teeing off on Paddock tonight. I could absolutely see that.
What was it, 120 to 43? 100 with the series? Something like that?
It was in that area. You're very close. You might be off by a game or two, but yeah, it's right there.
You know they smashed them. I can only look Yankees.
Always.
But I think the under does come in. I don't feel confident with the 7.5 with the Yankees. Seems too easy that the over. But I like the Yankees. I actually think I would lay the 1.5 too.
The White Sox and the Cubs again tonight at Wrigley. Tonight it'll be Jameson Shots-a-Tyone against Eric Fetty. Not as big a price as last night, Joe, when Imanaga was going. Only minus 190 for the Cubbies and plus 155 for the White Sox. Another big total, though, for us, a flat 9.
Yeah, I'm going White Sox here. White Sox and the over yet again. Both teams smashed. What do they have? Well over 10 and 11, 12 last night? I mean, they smashed
13, 7-6.
13
runs last night.
Once they went ahead and turned it off. I mean, they had a 5-0 lead in the first 4 innings. They don't score at all. So let's go up. Wow, what are you doing?
I got a couple more for you when we come back. I've got the taters for you as well for tonight. We'll finish off the baseball slate. We got a lot more to do. We got Coach and Davis later this hour as well. Ferrall Coast to Coast on a Wednesday. Carver High and Joe for Scotty. We're back after this.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Chicago is one of the top media markets in the country, so it makes some sense. But I gotta tell you, Philadelphia, not far behind. Cleveland, Ohio, not far behind. I would guess that precedent is now set.
They now would be paying, based on the last 12 months numbers, they'd be paying an additional $81.6 million in taxes.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
We are back, Ferrall Coast to Coast here on a Wednesday. Carver High and Joe Lisi in for Scotty on SportsGrid and SportsGrid Radio. Great to have everybody with us today. All right, Joe, I got three more for you, including a couple of late night ones, and then I'll give you the taters before we get into a couple of other things. The Tigers are still in Arlington against the Rangers. Kenta Maeda against Jose Urena is the pitching matchup tonight. Rangers minus $130 here, Joe. We have plus 105 for the Tigers, 8.5 is the total this evening. I believe, Joe, and I'm going to double check this right now, I believe we've had some dead unders here the last couple of nights. In fact, yes, 3-1 last night, 2-1 on Monday night. Are we due for a breakout maybe with some big sticks?
I thought last night would be the night since they hung that 7.5, and now they're hanging. Think about this. So we have two dead unders, and now they hang an 8.5. So they're giving us an extra run to bet the under. I understand the pitching matchup, but tonight might be the night. You want to take a shot? I think we do this in terms of the parlay, in terms of over. Let's go Tampa Bay, Miami over. Let's go Detroit and Texas over, and let's take a shot with the Pittsburgh Dodger over. What do you think?
I mean, I don't really love stacking all those logs on top of each other. I know you like to do that with all the overs. I know that you want to do that. So by all means, so Texas and Detroit, Dodgers and Pirates, and what was it? Marlins Rays, I think was the third one you threw in there.
Marlins and Rays are the one. Now, I think that's the one that set the tone, right? So last night set the tone.
These are straight plays, right? Or are you alting these overs? What are you doing?
For the sake of the show, we'll straight them.
You lose
but
me.
For the
you lose
radio
me when
show,
you start.
all straight. But for the radio show, I'm going to alt them. I want to see what we can get. I want to alt the one that I want to alt is the Tampa Bay game because I think the Rays are broken out. Okay. I think they take advantage of Miami.
Garrett's been pretty good lately for Miami. Very few guys have been good for the Marlins lately. But
I understand that, but you know this as well as anybody. I understand when you have a team that's inconsistent, all of a sudden you get the big run output, and then the next game they hang a low number. I'm expecting that trend to at least continue for at least one or two more games. That's why you can catch lightning in a bottle. They gave us a discount with the 7.5.
The Padres are still in Anaheim against the Angels tonight. Dylan Cease and Jose Soriano, the pitching matchup, minus 160 for the Padres tonight, plus a $1.35 for Anaheim, and a flat 8 for us here. These have been dead unders, Joe.
Yeah, they have. But you know what the play is, right? What happens every time you bet Pro 4 or another player to homer and they don't come through? Right?
I know.
Tonight is the night. So what do you want to do? You got 8-1 last night. What is this number tonight? Let's take a shot.
But you got to remember something. That's not
Forget
a guy
the
that I would
matchup.
normally. I normally wouldn't play him. It's not. I have to look to see what.
Just
what
take a
his number
shot.
is, Joe.
You know it happens more times than not.
Yeah, but that's different. This is a guy who doesn't hit a lot of homers. It's a little bit of a different situation. He's 7-1, by the way.
Meanwhile, we're going to be on air tonight, and you're going to be like Pro 4, just 1 yard. And then we're both going to be
I hope that I'm not doing that. That happens to me every day, Joe. When you play as many homers as I do, eventually that's going to happen to you.
You know what your nickname is? Mikey Wheel Carver. Mikey Wheel.
Not
the
my
wheel.
nickname.
Yeah.
No wheel here.
Wheel of Fortune. That should be your name.
The Mariners are at the dump against the A's. Logan What's Eating Gilbert Grape against Joey Estes tonight. He's been awful. The Mariners, Joe, minus 160, plus a $1.35 for the A's, and another flat 8.
Let's go over tonight. Seattle showed me something. They jumped up early. Let's go Seattle in the over again, in the ashtray.
Seattle in the over in the ashtray. Sure, Joe. If you want to go there, we could go there. I got no problem with that. Here's the taters for tonight. A lot of guys tonight with some big history. Didn't do me much with Pavetta in the afternoon against the Braves, that's for sure. Adley Rutschman plus 475 against Berrios tonight. Cal Raleigh in that Seattle-Oakland game. We were just talking about it. Plus 280. Juan Soto destroys Paddock. He's plus 250. Adalis Garcia plus 250 for the Rangers. And Jose Ramirez hits Singer very well, Joe. Monster numbers at plus 390 for him. So we're not going, Joe, with as many big ticket items tonight. The 7-1s, the 6-1s that we did yesterday, but we're going to go a little smaller, and hopefully we can hit a bunch of them tonight on the radio show. That would be very nice. Ferrall Coast to Coast here on a Wednesday. Carver High and Joe Lisi in for Scotty on SportsGrid and SportsGrid Radio. Coach Young, Lion's Share next on the grid.
Using the parlays against one another, right, and being able to get a little bit of juice consig, I found to be a little interesting.
Believe me, all the rhombuses and parallelograms are constantly trying to search and find out those things every day. It's one of the battles that you know, as you expand the menu, you encounter new battles.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
How fragile are these guys? It's amazing. They're supposed to be the greatest athletes in the world, and yet they can't walk and chew gum at the same time without getting hurt, for goodness sakes.
That Trout injury really is a bummer, too, because people thought he was going to have a big year. And I look, I don't feel bad for the Angels. I don't like Mike Trout in Anaheim. I thought he should have left when his contract was up.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The Warriors learn some of that split action that they run offensively and bring it to your own team. Folks, the name is Kenny Atkinson. Every time there is a job with a young core that needs to take the next step, I always think of Kenny Atkinson.
Only on SportsGrid. The brighter the lights, the bigger the stakes. Hunt or be hunted. Know your prey. This is a whole new jungle. This is The Lion's Share. Brought to you by BetMGM.
And we are back for Coast to Coast here on a Wednesday. Carver High in for Scotty on SportsGrid and SportsGrid Radio. Great to have everybody with us. BetMGM, they have got you set up. How about a $1,500 first bet offer? Download the BetMGM Sportsbook app on iOS or Android or visit BetMGM.com. Sign up and deposit at least $10 into your newly created account. Place your first wager and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if the bet loses. If the bet does lose, your bonus bets will be available once the initial wager is settled. That is BetMGM's first bet offer, up to $1,500 back. Speaking of BetMGM, it is time for the Lion's Share, brought to you by BetMGM. And Coach James Young is in the house as we get ready. Mavericks and Celtics finally tomorrow night, still a day away, but Coach has got some series-long plays that we are going to get into. And I'm glad that I got Coach for that today because I like that actually more than individual games, to be quite honest with you. I prefer, especially in the playoffs, to bet series bets, keep myself alive and interested, Coach, throughout the entire thing. Before I get there, I got to at least, because yesterday we talked about the WNBA stuff, and we talked about the Caitlin Clark and Reese, and we played the Reese clip. What happened to her last night, Coach? What, did they throw her out of the game last night against the Liberty? What was that all about?
Well, she got the quickest double tech I've ever seen. She got teed up, and she did the famous Coach Young wave off of the official, not looking at him, and got banged for a second. And here's the thing, folks, and this is the only reason why I'm bringing this up. We have talked about what a great job, Caitlin Clark is doing, is bringing more people into the sport. We also heard about Angel Reese saying that one of the reasons why people are watching the WNBA is not just because of Caitlin Clark, but because of her. But Angel, I just want to talk to you a second as a coach. I love your passion. As a matter of fact, I love your game. I love how hard you play. It's the comments to the media. It's the stuff that you did 2 years ago in the national championship game. It's this past year when you played the victim when you lost. It's the getting the two techs and being thrown out. Angel, if we're going to build this league around you, you got to be, available. You got to show up and show out and play. You got to answer questions to the media. See, here's the thing. And I'm going to go here, folks, because I didn't go here yesterday, and I was worried about it. I'm going to go there. Do you want to know why Caitlin Clark is immensely popular? Because she is a white female bringing people into the sport. It is what it is. So stop the hate, stop the jealousy, stop the nonsense, and just play basketball, Angel Reese. When you do that, you're a double-double machine. You're a joy to watch. And so many people, black and white, will go and watch you play, buy your jerseys, and go watch the Chicago Sky play. But when you do stuff like last night, when you do stuff like the clapping on the sideline after Caitlin Clark gets knocked down, when you do the "you can't see me," right? When you don't show up to press conferences, you're not helping your cause. You're not helping the Sky's cause. You're not helping the WNBA's cause. You're hurting it. Be one to help, not hurt the situation.
We were going to get this to you yesterday, Coach. The two games that Clark played in last weekend both had over 17,000 people at them, those two Indiana Fever games. All the other games this past weekend at the WNBA, 7,000, 4,000, 9,000, 7,000, 3,000, 10,000, and 7,000. The two Clark games had 17 apiece at them for the gate. Really fast, Coach, because I have to get to these other things. Do you think, because that was a weak double tech last night, I'm not going to lie, the little wave of the hand, do you think that since this past weekend, there has finally been something said to some officials, refs, coaches around the league, because Witherspoon changed her tune fairly quickly from the weekend as well, and then you saw Reese get a very quick hook Do you think something has been said after this past weekend?
Has to. Because they got to get this, Carver High, they got to get this under control because the ratings are up. Carver High, they finally got what they needed. They got the star. The star that attracts people that want to watch. You don't want to turn around and say, well, we're not going to watch all the other games. Because then that means that Caitlin Clark, you got to put her on all 40 regular season games and no one else gets time on national TV. They got to clean it up.
Already anyway.
I mean, 36 out of 40 for one of the worst teams in the league.
They're almost there, Coach. But I agree with you. I think something was said, and I think you're going to see some different whistles, maybe at least in the foreseeable future.
Real quick, the Jersey Shore girl who I've known a long time, Marina Mabry, made a kind of poignant point. She's like, you got to understand the referees. And she's probably the captain of the Sky. So I guarantee you, Marina, who I've known since she was about 12 years old, great kid, great family, and competitive, and talks as much junk as anybody, she probably knew what was going on. She made it seem like the younger players have to understand how to deal with the officials and know when to talk and when not to talk.
All right, Coach. Series bets, Lions share picks for the Mavericks and the Celtics. Game 1 tomorrow night in Boston. Let's start, Coach, with P.J. Washington, who has obviously been very, very productive in the playoffs for Dallas.
Yeah, I'm going to go with P.J. Washington to score this. Now, you have to listen closely, folks. 10-plus points in every game of the series at plus 350. Carver High, his points prop for game number 1 is 11.5. Carver High, 6 of the last 10 games, he's got the double digits. But 6 straight games versus Boston, he's gotten the double digits. He's been at times your third best player, and if Dallas is going to compete, he's got to get the double digits. P.J. Washington, 10-plus points every game, plus 350. And if he gets the first couple of games, you can start playing under the other way to kind of hedge your bet if you want to.
Coach, I love these playoff series where you can bet things like guy to score the most points, the most rebounds, the most threes. It's hard in this series because you have Luka involved, and he has so much volume in all of these different categories. But you're going to try to go after the rebounds with a guy from each team.
Yes. So when you talk about rebounds, this, folks, is more about style make fights, right? So I'm going to go with Derek Lively to lead the series in rebounding at 12-1. Right? So with Lively, here's the fact. I think he's going to play big minutes. I don't trust Luka because I think he has the three-point line. I don't trust Tatum. So you got to start finding guys. Lively, very lively, likes our attacked offensive boards. And I think he's too athletic for Horford. And you wonder about Porzingis. So I like him right there at 12-1.
There you go. And Porzingis also. What's Porzingis' number, Coach? Is he 12-1 also to have the most boards?
No. 16-1. And this is why now I'm going to go the other way, Carver High. Well, so let's be honest here. If you think about the Dallas offense, it's pick and roll, it's dunk spot. So that means that Lively and Gafford should be around the basket. I'm concerned that Al Horford may not be athletic enough to deal with Gafford, and especially
there, as we get Coach back right there. We lost Coach for a moment with us. So he's expecting, there you go, Porzingis 16-1 to lead the series in boards. Coach, quickly, you got less than a minute. Give me Luka for the threes and who you like to win the series. All right, well, Coach is out. He likes Luka to lead the three-point leader in this series for it. So I believe that number is plus 110 for Luka to do that. And like me, Coach has got the Mavs winning this series plus 180 in 6. Count them, 6 games, which is what I have in the exacta at plus 550, Coach. I got plus 550 for him to win exactly in 6 games along with the plus 180. Coach will be back tomorrow with Scotty to get you ready for game number 1 tomorrow night. The Lion's Share brought to you by BetMGM. We're back on the grid right after this.
The Lion's Share, presented by BetMGM.
The Warriors learn some of that split action that they run offensively and bring it to your own team. Folks, the name is Kenny Atkinson. Every time there is a job with a young core that needs to take the next step, I always think of Kenny Atkinson.
Only on SportsGrid.
The numbers might look crazy, especially depending on where you think Jared Goff falls in the National Football League. I would consider him, maybe as crazy as this sounds, a top 10 quarterback.
And again, the theory behind paying your quarterbacks and your top-rated players, pay them earlier. The longer you wait, it only costs you money. If you have a top wide receiver, pay him here.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid. The Bostonian versus the Book.
That was Aaron Rodgers' thing. To your quarterback in the first round.
Yeah.
It's a luxury pick. We don't have the luxury. We're trying to win right now. I'm in a window right now, and you're going to say, no, we're going to plan this for the future. With a guy who had 4 years, 4 seasons ended by injury. 4. Like, Michael Penix is a walking injury. Like, what are you doing taking him in the top 10?
The Bostonian versus the Book.
Using the parlays against one another, right, and being able to get a little bit of juice consig, I found to be a little interesting.
Believe me, all the rhombuses and parallelograms are constantly trying to search and find out those things every day. It's one of the battles that you know, as you expand the menu, you encounter new battles.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
And we are back, Ferrall, Coast to Coast, here on a Wednesday. Carver High in for Scotty on SportsGrid and SportsGrid Radio. Great to have everybody with us here today. Davis Maddock is with us every day on Coast to Coast. Of course, Fantasy Sports Today, Saturday mornings, right here on the grid, and every day with us. Davis, good to see you as always. Of course, Davis also participates in Golf Wednesdays here on C2C. And Davis goes above and beyond because he doesn't just do a PGA. When he lives here, he gives a live pick, and he even got a little Corn Ferry going for us this week. So, Davis, why don't we start with the Memorial at Muirfield Village, Jack's tournament. Who do you like this week?
You know, I think this is it's a pretty interesting event in the sense that we were kind of hoping it would be the return elevated event. You know, we got Jack's tournament. We have a couple major championships coming up, and the field's all right. I mean, we got Scotty, we got Xander, we got Maury, we got Rory. And then it kind of falls off. I mean, you know, these guys who have been so up and down. Ludwig's playing with this knee injury. Hovland, look, I know Hovland had the good showing at the PGA, but the dude still can't chip. So I'm going deeper down the board here. I think there are honestly a bunch of guys that you can take in the 55 to 60 to 1 range. First on the board here is going to be Sepp Straka. I mean, if this guy had like a cooler haircut or had like something to market him, I mean, he would be just as popular, honestly, as Hovland or Zaberg. He's unbelievable. T5 at the Charles Schwab, T8 at the Wells Fargo, T5 at the Heritage. He had made a good run there at the Masters and then stopped being able to putt. He's won on the tour over the last year, and his deal is he is a masterful player upon approach. One of the best guys on tour, strokes gained approach. That's going to be key here. I think this is a great number. I feel pretty good about taking Sepp here.
We love Sepp here on Coast to Coast. He was actually on Cam's card last hour when we were doing our picks, so Cam has Sepp Straka as well. So hopefully we'll get a nice family play here on C2C. Also, we'll go to Sweden for you, Davis, with Alex Noren.
All right, I have no idea, no explanation for what happened to Alex Noren last week in Canada. Before that event, he had been T24 or better in 10 straight events. He had gained strokes versus the field in 15 straight events. He had led multiple rounds in strokes gained around the green and approach before that. I mean, look, is Alex Noren this great permanent winner on the PGA Tour? I mean, I think pretty obviously we know that he is not. But guys like Noren, this is such a live-related thing. Guys like Noren, who are pretty capable, strong PGA players, but definitely never the greatest of the great. I mean, look, let's just be honest. You remove 4 of the best golfers in the world from every single event, just means their odds of winning are going to go up. So Noren, 55-1, in what is, again, let's be honest, not as strong of a field. I think Noren at 55-1 is pretty good here.
Live Golf will be down in Houston this week as the guys in that field who are qualified for the U.S. Open will have their final tune-up. Bryson DeChambeau is one of those guys. We played a couple cuts from him earlier on Coast to Coast as he gets ready to play down in Houston this week, and you like him as well.
Okay. I mean, Liv, it might get to the stage where I might actually figure out how to watch one of these events. Like, is there a channel I can watch? Like, do I have to subscribe to CW? Do I go to YouTube? But it's finally interesting because Bryson is playing well enough for me to tune in. He's been caring about these events. I mean, this actually is pretty funny. His highest finish in any event in 2024, second place at the PGA Championship. Like, that's pretty funny. Now, he did win 2 events last year on Live, so I think it's unfair to say. But I think rightfully so, a lot of people imagined Rahm comes, Koepka gets healthy. I mean, that's pretty much the end of Bryson being the best player. That has not been the case. I mean, Jon Rahm, I don't know what happened to Jon Rahm playing there on the Live Tour, but he is not the same guy. He's been brutal in both of the major championships he's played this year. So as long as Bryson is kind of trading even, chopping there with Jon Rahm on the Live Tour, I mean, I think he should probably be more like 6-1 in these events, 5-1, kind of like he was. Remember that real dominant run he put together where he like won the 3M and stuff like on the PGA Tour. I kind of think that's how he should be priced on the Live.
And we have the Corn Ferry Tour this week, where I know Big Rig Higgs has been on a roll. He's won the last couple of Corn Ferry Tour events, but who do you got going?
All right, I got a couple guys here. Now, these are definitely straight data golf plays. Here at SportsGrid, we've been buddies with our friends over at Data Golf for a long time, long working relationship there. Now, Will Gordon, we also have some experience with him on the PGA Tour. I would assume the reason why he is playing these KFT events has something to do with the reworked. There's reworked specifications to keep your tour card. So Will Gordon, I mean, look, not a great PGA Tour player, but, kind of a T18 at the Canadian Open, a T25 at the Scottish Open, T10, the Zozo Championship. So this seems like, in a KFT field, seems pretty solid for him. And then we've got some true strokes gained data from one of the top guys in the NCAA Division I, one Mr. Nick Gabrelek. He, in 2024, relative to all the other college golfers he's played, he has gained 2.5 strokes per round on the fields that he has been playing. Again, I'm not saying these are 900 unit plays, super high confidence, but anyone playing pretty well in the KFT I also just love opening up my PGA Tour app, flipping it over to KFT and realizing I have a sweat on Sunday. So these two are fun plays, I think.
Before we get out of here, Davis, the Dodgers as a dog tonight against Skeens. Are you biting?
I think Paul Skeens, awesome pitcher. He's incredible. I got nothing bad to say about him. I would imagine, based relative to the market, he's the single most overvalued player in all of Major League Baseball, just relative to what he's done. Not saying anything bad about him. Not saying you can't bet on the Pirates. Not saying you can't bet his strikeout total. But I would imagine there's about 10 cents of just total pure public juice on Skeens anytime he pitches.
I agree with you. And I think tonight's a great night to have the Dodgers and maybe even a couple of their guys to homer. Probably wouldn't be a problem either, some of their big guns. Davis, great job. As always, we'll see you back here tomorrow. Ferrall Coast to Coast on the grid. We're back right after this.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Chicago is one of the top media markets in the country, so it makes some sense. But I gotta tell you, Philadelphia, not far behind. Cleveland, Ohio, not far behind. I would guess that precedent is now set.
They now would be paying, based on the last 12 months numbers, they'd be paying an additional $81.6 million in taxes.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
And we are back, well, coast to coast here on a Wednesday. Carver High and Joe Lisi in for Scotty on SportsGrid and SportsGrid Radio. Great to have everybody with us here today. Rockies now lead the Reds, Joe, 5-4 at the end of the fifth inning. So they've got 9 runs on the board, and they still have a few innings to go out there in Colorado. We'll see if they can get up to Joe's number there. Bottom of the third in Arizona, 6-1. The Giants lead the Diamondbacks. So the Snakes not playing very well. Scoreless in Philadelphia between the Brewers and the Phillies. They're in the top of the fourth inning now as they are flying along. The Mets and the Nationals have not started yet. They've been delayed by rain, but I did just see that they are going to start within the next 30 minutes or so, that the Mets and the Nationals are going to finally get going down there in D.C. Red Sox beat the Braves 9-0. Cardinals beat the Astros 4-2. Also for tonight's card, I know we went through it before, Joe, the Royals-Guardians game washed away in Cleveland. They have already postponed that game, so you could strike that one off. And there could be a couple others, Joe, in jeopardy as well, as we do have some weather. Not good, Joe. So stick with the dome games, Joe. Stick with the games you know aren't going anywhere.
Now stop with the dome. I told you, the Pittsburgh Dodger game and that game in Miami. We got to attack that. The game in Miami. You want to put it with the golf? You want to put it with
the weather? Weather looks good in Pittsburgh. So the weather looks okay.
How about the Argentinian, little Argentinian with the big heart, Grillo? First round.
You want to
leader?
get on the golf? You're in on the golf now? You want to get in?
What do you mean now? You know that I'm not part of the syndicate. I'm not part of the I'm not rubbing elbows with the elites on SportsGrid. When the golf syndicate gets together, crack crab and lobster for you and Cam and Read the Line and Smiley and all the guys. I know. I'm not part of that inner circle. I know. Lisi like Billy Horschel. I know how it goes.
You had Billy here 2 years ago. Billy won this event 2 years ago.
No, you talked me out of it. Every time I have a good thought when it comes to the golf, you talk me out of it. I had a great thought. The one thing I do, you know that I know how to pick them in certain spots. You talk me out of the hockey 4 straight overtimes or 4 overtimes with the Rangers and Panthers, right? You told me no shot. We would have hit that for 15-1. Then, I always bet Skins. The one time, because you took him under your wing, he goes first-round leader last week. I don't have a dime on the guy.
You got to stick with your guys, Joe. You leave these guys at the side of the road, and they're gone. By the way, we've had 2 picks for Seppi already. Cam and Davis both like Straka this week at the Memorial, and that's another reason you won't play him now. You like Straka. You get involved with him once in a while, but now you won't play him.
No, now it's off of principle because everybody else is taking my picks. That's it. These hacks are the ones that I take. Now all of a sudden we got the.
Well, you're taking the guys who are 350 to 1. I mean, those are the guys that you're taking. You're taking the deepest of long shots. You're not even getting a mid-range long shot. You're going with the guys all the way at the bottom of the barrel.
Maybe I'm like Roaring Kitty. I pick value. What can I say? Kitty's
I don't know
roaring.
anything about this Rolling Kitty or the Roaring Kitty or whatever it is. I don't know anything about it, Joe. I'm not in.
It's picking his head up. I don't know.
You talk about being in syndicates. You're in your own private one with that. I don't know anything about it with the Roaring Kitty. So Joe likes Emiliano Grillo, the little Argentinian with a big heart who's going off at 400 to 1 this week.
First round leader, not to win it. First round leader.
What are you getting for the first round leader? Did you check? Did you put it in yet or no? You didn't.
Not yet. Last night when I looked, I thought it was 120 to 1.
You're probably right about that. He is. I got to scroll. 1 second, Joe. I got to scroll all the way to the bottom real fast. 110 to 1 now.
I knocked it down.
There's actually 2 guys below him. Malnati and Snedeker are actually the only 2 guys below Gria.
Pete Malnati from the neighborhood. He's from the neighborhood. Neighborhood guy playing golf.
Go out and play him. When we come back, Joe, I have for you a couple things for Dallas and Boston. They'll play Game 1 tomorrow night. We have a little bit of the zinger for you as he is healthy. Looks like he's going to play. We have got Luka talking about his Maverick team heading for the NBA Finals. We have a little bit of the hockey. I've even got some football for you today, Joe. I have Diggs. I have Mike McCarthy. I have a bunch of football stuff that I hopefully will get to at some point. Hopefully. At some point in the final hour with you. Ferrall Coast to Coast on a Wednesday. Carver High and Joe in for Scotty. We're back on the grid. Hour 3 right after this.
The Warriors learn some of that split action that they run offensively and bring it to your own team. Folks, the name is Kenny Atkinson. Every time there is a job with a young core that needs to take the next step, I always think of Kenny Atkinson.
Only on SportsGrid.
The numbers might look crazy, especially depending on where you think Jared Goff falls in the National Football League. I would consider him, maybe as crazy as this sounds, a top 10 quarterback.
And again, the theory behind paying your quarterbacks and your top-rated players, pay them earlier. The longer you wait, it only costs you money. If you have a top-flight wide receiver, pay him here.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid. The Bostonian versus the Book.
That was Aaron Rodgers' thing. It's your quarterback in the first round.
Yeah.
It's a luxury pick. We don't have the luxury. We're trying to win right now. I'm in a window right now, and you're going to say, no, we're going to plan this for the future. With a guy who had 4 years, 4 seasons ended by injury. 4. Like, Michael Penix is a walking injury. Like, what are you doing taking him in the top 10?
The Bostonian versus the Book.
Using the parlays against one another, right, and being able to get a little bit of juice consig, I found to be a little interesting.
Believe me, all the rhombuses and parallelograms are constantly trying to search and find out those things every day. It's one of the battles that you know, as you expand the menu, you encounter new battles.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.